So for me, as a watch collector, you gotta have something like this in the collection. If you only own one AP, it will of course be a Royal Oak. Hi, Brendan here. Welcome back to the video. Great to see you here. And today I want to review two watches, or brands of watch as well, that you need to know about. You probably do know about, but there's lots of talk alongside each one. So here is the first watch. It is the AP Royal Oak. This is my AP Royal Oak chronograph, my first ever Royal Oak that I bought. And here is the second watch, the Daytona, the Panda, the classic, the icon. So it's Royal Oak versus Daytona, AP versus Rolex. So let's get into it. And if you like this video, make sure you subscribe and hit the bell icon so you don't miss another video. I talk about all things watches and fragrances and lifestyle and travel and men's health and all that cool stuff. So hit subscribe and hit the thumbs up too. So let's begin with the Royal Oak. Well, the first thing I want to share is when you put a Royal Oak on the wrist, definitely you know you're wearing it. This piece is 39mm, but to be honest with you, wears larger, quite a bit larger actually, than some of my 40 and 41mm watches. I've also owned the 41mm Royal Oak, and that is a beast. That actually wears larger than 42 and 43mm watches. So, but you can see actually it does really wear well, and this is, whilst not slimline, small enough to go under a cuff comfortably. You haven't got a big thick watch. You can see it on the wrist there. Kind of does its job nicely. And I bought this watch many years ago from Watchfinder in the UK. Got a really good deal on the piece, and then everything went crazy with prices, and I was offered silly money for this, and then everything went down in prices. So kind of probably doing all right on this watch, but you know, what you've got here is a beautiful, beautiful hybrid of the slimmer Royal Oak versus the chunkier chronograph. And they didn't make this for too long. You don't see that many examples out there. I'm a big fan of this piece. So let's compare now with the Daytona. Well, you can see that the Daytona feels and looks slimmer on the wrist. This is a newer watch, in fairness. It's 20 years newer than the AP, and you can feel that for sure. But actually the Daytona, the Rolex Daytona, iconic piece, it is actually a slimline watch. And that's why lots of blokes tend to not want to wear them, because they perceive it to be too slim. I think that's a load of nonsense personally. I think the Daytona just beautifully wears for pretty much everyone. And because of its iconic design, it delivers for sure. But if you want a slimmer watch, you definitely want to go Rolex. But here's the thing. AP, in my eyes, it's part of the Holy Trinity. It is a cut above, and look at the finish on that bracelet. It sort of glistens, doesn't it? It is a cut above the Rolex for sure, and you do feel that difference when you're wearing this watch alongside a Daytona. It delivers for me. I think as a watch collector, you've got to have an AP in the collection somewhere. And actually, I think you could get started. I'm not saying this is affordable or cheap, but it's very good value when you compare it to some of the silly prices on the market for this piece. And it's got a bit more of a story to it. It's a little bit more of a neo-vintage piece. They didn't make as many. You won't find as many on Chrono24 or other sites. You will find a lot of these, no doubt about it. Perhaps a better comparison is the pre-ceramic Daytona. So this is the older Daytona, was made up until 2016. This particular piece is a 2011 piece, alongside around about a 2000 piece. And this is more of a like-for-like comparison. You're probably going to pay similar money for this as you are between this one and a Panda Daytona. Maybe the AP is just a touch heavier on price than the Panda, the modern day ceramics. But yeah, as a contrast, this one, very similar in size, I think you'd say, and you're getting, again, a beautiful piece. So it's really personal preference. So for me, as a watch collector, you gotta have something like this in the collection. If you only own one AP, it will of course be a Royal Oak, and the 39 in the chronograph, you're getting bang for your buck. If you go 39, you tend to go to the jumbo. They're super expensive. Now they are stunning, they are iconic, they are super slimline, but they are really, really expensive. This piece will be less than half the price, or around about half the price. Your other option is to go for, I think it's the 15400 reference, which is the 39mm, but not the jumbo. So similar thickness to this piece, maybe slightly slimmer, but doesn't have the chronograph. Probably similar money. For me, there's a sentimental element to this piece. It's my first ever AP. I don't think I'll sell it. I've owned other APs. I've owned the 15500 ST. I've owned 3 or 4 offshores, and I've gradually moved those pieces on. This one has hung around, and I can see why, because it just delivers. And I noticed, I was looking back through some photos of me wearing this watch. Not just photos of me wearing this watch, but I saw a photo of me wearing this watch years and years ago, and I saw the watch and I was like, wow, that actually really does pop on the wrist. You can still wear this in most settings, and I think AP did a great job with it. One thing to consider when you're looking at APs is they can be scratch magnets. Because the piece has got a steel bezel, and actually I have got a scratch, I'm not sure if you can see, I'll try and maybe do some overlay, it's roughly next to the crown. So here is the AP Royal Oak, the 39mm, under the camera, and you can see just next to the crown here, a little dink, little scratch, but nothing too major, and it can be a bit of a scratch magnet, but hasn't really bothered me at all. I've not polished it, I've not done anything to it, and I just love it. I just think it's a beautiful piece. Throw it on the wrist for a second. It's got that quick release, real simple clasp, and not quick release, it's just quick to release, so to speak. And you can see how that looks and performs on the wrist when compared to other pieces. It really packs a punch. It's got presence, but it's not too big. The beautiful AP bracelet finish is there. The links, you'll see, they're quite thick for an AP Royal Oak. It's obviously to keep that in proportion with the case and the watch in general. But yeah, I mean, what a piece from a value perspective this one is. So let's compare now with the ceramic Rolex Daytona. So yeah, I mean, the AP is actually technically the smaller watch, 39mm versus 40mm. I'm not sure about that. They feel very similar in terms of that size, but actually when you look at the Daytona, it's slimmer, and the lugs angle down and slope down much more so, making it even thinner and more elegant on the wrist, let's say, than the AP. And if I give you a bit of a wrist shot of both, try and make this work on my other wrist here. So here is the AP on the wrist versus the Daytona on the wrist. Both great, both look great, I love them both, but yeah, very different feel. You can't go wrong with a Rolex Daytona, of course, but I think the sort of neo-vintage Royal Oak has a place in the collection as well. But what do you think? Let's cut back to the video. I'm going to give you my closing thoughts, but which one would you choose? Make sure you leave a comment, and also your thoughts on Daytonas, APs, Royal Oaks and Rolex, always really appreciated too. So if you live a rough and ready lifestyle, probably not a watch for that occasion, but this is a fantastic watch to wear for a meal out, for a weekend away with the missus somewhere nice. Yeah, you know, I'm proud to own it. And I don't think you would look at this and think this is a 25-year-old watch. I don't think you would look at it at all. I mean, it does look a little bit more dated alongside newer watches on the dial alone, but I'm proud of it. I love it. The only slight drawback is it does not have an exposed case back. You'll see it's got a bit of a slab back, but it doesn't really bother me at all. It's great. A lot of Pateks of that era didn't have those either. Rolex have never had it until very, very recently on the Daytona, and none of their other sports models. This is a sports chic bracelet watch. To me, if you're going to go into the watch collecting game, you've got to get your hands on an AP at some point. And I think you can't really go wrong with this one at the current value in the market. But let me know what you think. Really keen to get your thoughts. What is your opinion on Audemars Piguet or AP? What do you think about the Royal Oak? How do you see it comparing to Rolex? What other sport chic watches are your favourites? Comment below. Let's go on this journey together. I certainly don't have all the answers. I'm just sharing my stories. Come along on the journey, and I will see you very, very soon in another video. Thanks again for watching. Take care.